Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So we're going to talk about some more tone-deaf comments coming from our government today. But before we get into that, I want to remind everybody that there are tens of millions of Americans that have no health insurance. There are tens of millions more who are underinsured. That 1 out of 10 Americans cannot handle a $400 emergency, and 40% would have difficulty doing so. There's our baseline before we start this conversation. Because when we talk about tone-deaf comments, what it displays in glorious fashion is how far are our representatives, those people who are supposed to represent us up in D.C., how far away from us they are. They don't even understand the situation, the fears. So how on earth can they represent us? So, what are the comments? We all know President Trump is a bit of a germaphobe. Well, despite what he's telling everybody publicly, I guess that he's kind of worried that a journalist may give him something on Air Force One. And he's worried about that, terrified of it, panicking, meltdown. These are the words that were used. Representative Paul Gosar out of Arizona. You know, he's on a staycation, and he said that, you know, it's given him time to think about man's mortality, and he's decided he would rather go out gloriously in battle. Fear. They're afraid. And they have access to the finest health care that money can buy, with your money, by the way. And they're afraid. They can take time off. They can stay home. And they're letting these comments get out. Their job is to convey calm. If it is scary or unnerving or worrisome for people who have the ability to stay home and rest, to go on a staycation, who have health insurance, who have private physicians available to them, if it's worrisome for them, what does that say for the rest of the country? What does that say for the tens of millions of uninsured? Those who don't have access to health care. Those who can't take a week off, much less two. However, when anybody brings up addressing the healthcare crisis in this country, oh, no, we can't do that. That's socialism. Can't do that. Can't let people have health care. That's just wrong. Well, then let's do it within the market. Let's find some way to incentivize raising, wages. Get people. No, can't do that. Can't do that either. See, it would just be great if you guys would, stay poor and die quietly. Thoughts and prayers and all that, but we don't want to hear about it. This should be a wake-up call for the GOP. It's not gonna be, but it should be. The economic concerns that people are worried about, they're going to be drastically greater here. Because the working class don't have health care. Those people who you count on to run those factories, well, our supply chain is going to be interrupted. It's going to be a whole lot worse when workers can't come in. A healthy community is an economically viable community. It might be something worthy of putting on the platform in some way. And truthfully, nobody cares how it's done. But if you're in one of the most powerful countries on the planet, you should probably be able to see a doctor. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good night.